Welcome back everyone, I'm Eric from Rare Candy, and today we are back checking out another single prize deck from Battle Styles, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Kingdra. It's a stage 2 deck, so you guys know I'm excited to check this one out. This video is actually requested by one of our patrons, G, over at patreon.com/rarecandytcg, so big shout out to him for all of his support. But basically, depending on how much our patrons decide to pledge, one of the perks is they can choose videos for us to cover. G wanted to see Kingdra, so that's what we got here today. So of course, guys, if you want to learn more about how to have a bigger say over the content on this channel, I'll have a link down below in the description for you to check out our Patreon too. But before we get any deeper into today's video, if you guys can, remember, of course, smack that like button, help us beat that pesky YouTube algorithm. And if you need any cards to complete this deck or any others, you guys can visit our friends at PTCGO Remember to use that coupon code RARECANDY at checkout. And all of our patrons also have their own exclusive discount code for even bigger savings. But hopping back into the deck, let's take a look at Kingdra. So Kingdra is a new Stage 2 Pokemon, has the Aqua Burst attack, does 40 for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So, you know, that's kind of cool. Kingdra has like a pseudo unlimited damage cap, so in theory we can one-shot like most everything with this guy, but kind of the big issue with cards like this being like a kind of a low HP Stage 2 Pokemon is that you're going to dump a ton of energy on Kingdra, and then normally it would just get knocked out and you have to lose all of that energy and try to set up another Kingdra with a billion energy on it somehow. But luckily, Kingdra's Deep Sea King ability is going to help us out with that a little bit. So whenever your active is knocked out by damage from an attack, you may move any number of water energy from that Pokemon to this Pokemon. So what that means is if we effectively have two Kingdra set up, if our active gets knocked out, we can take all of that energy, move it to our Kingdra on the bench, and keep chaining our attackers every turn with this guy. So that's what we are going to be building around. Now, of course, we have a couple of issues already. You know, Kingdra does need energy acceleration, so we have Frosmoth and also Articuno. And also we need multiple Kingdra in play at all times, because if we lose our active Pokemon and we don't have another Kingdra, we just lose all that energy. So this deck is going to be a little bit more slow than a lot of other decks out there. Really, we are attempting to kind of hide behind these Articunos in the early portions of the game, because as long as the Articuno is our active, our opponent can't play boss's orders to bring up our Horsies, our Kingdras, and all of that stuff. Cold Cyclone also can be a decent attack to just get some chip damage in, but this ability is really why we're playing this. Is you know, just kind of a way we're trying to stall at the beginning of the game while we get our board slowly built up with this deck. We also have a 1/1 Frosmoth that does look kind of like a lower count, and honestly, I would like a 2/2. I have had a 2/2 in this list at different points. But what I found is a lot of times you actually end up accelerating energy with your Articuno to your Kingdras with Cold Cyclone, and you don't really need a Frosmoth until really the mid game in my experience. So we have the 1/1 Frosmoth. We have a ton of ways to search out all these Pokemon, so we're hoping that the 1/1 can carry us to victory. Again, if you can somehow find space for a 2/2, go for it, but right now I am unfortunately settling on the 1/1 Frosmoth to accelerate our energies with the Ice Dance ability. Looking at some of our other Pokemon, as you see, we have no copies of Boss's Orders in this list at all. Again, just due to space issues. So we are playing the 1 copy of Fion here for the Whirlpool Suction ability. This is going to be our only gusting option in the deck. Without Boss's Orders, this is probably like the next best thing. Again, just space is so tight with this deck. I've honestly kind of found like I wish we had 65 cards to play with. I think then I would be happy, but you have to make some cuts somewhere when we're playing a Stage 2 and a Stage 1 line like this. Of course, looking at our support Pokemon here, we do have 1 copy of Zacian V for the Intrepid Sword ability. So in the early portions of the game, we can kind of just hang back, use Intrepid Sword to like refresh our hand, because honestly, the first 3-ish turns of the game, we're not really doing a whole lot. So Intrepid Sword can kind of help us get set up in the early portions of the game, and we have a Crobat V for the mid game as well. I originally had lists with no multi-prize support Pokemon, but I mean, you just need so many cards because you need so many Kingdras, you need a ton of energy, you need Frosmoth. So I did eventually cave in, and we are playing the Zacian and Crobat. Taking a look at the rest of our list, we have an interesting draw supporter lineup. We're playing no copies of Professor's Research, just because a lot of times we do have a lot of moving pieces in this deck. So I am kind of trying a more experimental supporter line here. It does feel bad discarding your hand a lot of the time with this deck, so I ultimately opted for something a little bit different here. I do kind of like the heavy bird keeper count as well, because we want to get into an Articuno ASAP on turn 1. So bird keeper can be another way we can quickly get into our Articunos and start walling our opponent. Marnie, of course, for some hand disruption, and we also don't have to discard any resources from our hand. And then we have the 2 copies of Rosa. So if one of our Pokemon was knocked out, we can get a Pokemon trainer card and basic energy, put them into our hand. So a lot of times this can be used to go for like a water energy, Kingdra, and a rare candy to get your whole evolution line set up right away. So yeah, very interesting supporter lineup. I have to admit, no supporter lineup I've used in this deck has felt good. But so yeah, I don't like the 4 research for Marnie standard list. So we're playing these instead. The draw isn't quite as deep as something as research, but unfortunately, without something like Cynthia in the format, these are probably our next best options. You could even play Bruno. That's a card I wouldn't mind trying out, but Rosa just seems too good for, you know, considering the fact that we're a stage 2 deck. The last interesting card is going to be the 2 copies of the Wash Water Energy. It's a card I honestly did not think I'd be playing in a deck, but here we are. So the reason we are playing this is because it prevents effects of attacks. So meaning that we can stop things like Lucario and Melmetal's Full Metal Wall GX, discarding all of our energy. We can prevent Rillabooms, not Rillabooms, but Rowlet, Alolan Executor's Tropical Hour GX. So stuff like that can remove our energy. That's why we are playing this guy. But that's going to be the list we're going to be trying out. You know, stage 2s have been struggling for a while to be good outside of Decidueye, and this deck needs a lot to get up and running. So fingers crossed, guys. Let's see if we can get some wins with this deck today. All right, so we're going to call the coin flip here, which we do win. I feel like we go first just because we have a lot to set up, but there is also a world where going second is good with this deck too. Okay, that hand would have been pretty decent had we started Articuno, but let's see what we can make happen. All right. Now, unfortunately, I really wish we had another basic here. Like, if we could draw a Horsey. Okay, absolutely broken. That's what I wanted to see here. Okay, looks like we might be going against the Primeape deck. I feel like we might lose this one. I almost kind of want to go for Crobat to draw energy this turn. So we're going to do this. I think we're just going to get rid of the Bird Keeper. Crobat is weak to fighting, which is a bummer, but I think we really want to get an attachment down and potentially get an easy KO on this next turn. Hey, that is another good card to get. So from there, I think we actually probably just... Because if we attach... I kind of want to always have a Pokemon with an air balloon. So if we attach here, they get set up. Next turn we attack, take a knockout, then this guy goes down more than likely. So I think actually we will... I think we'll do this. Because we're going to use Cold Cyclone, move this energy to our bench, and then more than likely they're going to return KO this Articuno. So this way we can keep our air balloon in play. So they're going to get down to Mew. Mew actually could be annoying, because Mew can actually get around our Articuno. But I guess we could always just Cold Cyclone and knock out this Mew. So I think if we knock out the Mankey, that's almost like a bait from our opponent, because then we won't have energy on this guy, and then Mew can snipe behind an Articuno with no energy. So that's something that could happen. Okay, and a pass over to us. All right, great top deck. So at this point, we just want a Seadra and maybe a Snom at this point. Alrighty, so I think we just... We're going to get knocked out by Primeape. Do we just try to get a KO with... Do we just try to get a knockout with Kingdra next turn to keep up? It's not ideal, but I think that's what we might do, honestly, guys. Because just doing 70 to a Primeape feels kind of bad, and we're going to fall behind the prize exchange, I think, if we do that. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and do this. Okay, there's a communication. That's actually a pretty good card to get here. Yeah, if they do knock us out, we have the Rosa. If we can set up the double Kingdra, then I actually do kind of feel decent about moving our energy to the little horsey here. All right, so right now we're actually still not in much danger of being knocked out, just because they do need more damage Pokemon on the bench. So they need some Spirit Tombs and all that stuff. There's going to be a Crobat from our opponent. So they're going to need three, I believe, 3 Pokemon on the bench with damage on them. Right now, that is not the case at all. So they're going to discard a Primeape with that Tower of Darkness, draw some more cards. There's Houndoom. They need a Spirit Tomb. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're actually probably safe. We might even just see, like, a Field Crush for a little bit of damage. Articuno is also resistant to fighting, so that actually does help us a little bit. Okay, we're going to see the Single Strike Roar, get some energy and damage on this Mankey, more than likely. There's going to be a Quick Ball. Okay. So, yeah, the resistance is actually saving us here, because they would be doing 120, but then because of resistance, we're going to be narrowly out of reach of them to take a one-shot. But if they are playing Scoop Up Net in their deck, that's where they could still pull off this KO. Because they could Scoop Up Net the Jinx. Well, actually, no. Yeah, they could make it happen, because they could Scoop Up Net Jinx, bench Spirit Tomb, and that would get them the KO. Or if they play Vitality Band, I think that would also do the trick for them too. So, okay, so they're just going to go for the Steam and Mad Strike. Not quite enough, unfortunately. So I'm actually content losing the Articuno if we have to. So I'm just going to put back a Horsey into deck. We're just going to grab ourselves a Seadra here. And I think we'll get down this Horsey as well. We'll attach our Wash Energy. I don't think there's any way this guy is getting brought up, so I think we just do this. And from there, pass over to our opponent. We have a decent hand to work with for the next turn. We can set up the double Kingdra. We can just evolve, grab Rare Candy Kingdra Energy with Rosa, and set up our second one. And then after that, we can Marnie, but... Okay, there's going to be a Single Strike Roar. Probably getting another energy on Primeape here. Then, of course, Jinx can come in, move that damage somewhere else if they need to. Alright, so now their deck is in a pretty good groove over here. And it looks like they might be thinking about powering up the Houndoom as well. Maybe just as a like pseudo like free retreater. They can always just promote this and hard retreat it at some point if they need to. Ooh, nice. They have the awesome Secret Rare Houndoom. Man of Culture I see over here. Alright, so we're just going to promote our Articuno since we do have free retreat thanks to that air balloon. Okay, so here we can go for the Rosa. Start actually putting on some pressure. So we go Kingdra. Rare Candy. Water Energy, and now our deck is going to be popping off. So we can go Rare Candy Kingdra. Evolve into this Kingdra. And so we're doing enough to take a KO. I might even attach preemptively to an Articuno, because we only need these 3 energies to keep getting shuffled around. And this way we will have the option for a Cold Cyclone at some point again if we do need it. So from there, we're just going to go for the Aqua Burst, knock out the Primeape. Let's see what we get here. We do get a Bird Keeper, okay. So the one downside to our deck, though, is we have no Boss's Orders in our deck. So it's going to be tough for us to chase down this Crobat at some point. There's going to be another Houndour. So the big thing they want to find is a Mankey. They are 2 down, I believe. 3 if you count their active. So that's going to be the big card they are going to be on the hunt for here. If they don't find that, that's going to be pretty bad for them. Their hand is massive. Okay, and there's going to be a Bruno, so they can refresh their hand and get 7. So, no Boss's Orders, that's good. They are down 1, I believe. Yeah, so more than likely they do play at least 1 more. I could maybe see a Boss and a Great Catcher. I think that was what I played in the list that I am uploading to the YouTube channel, or have already uploaded. Not sure when it'll be up, but I do have a video on Primeape going up as well at some point soon. Or they could just be playing the standard sort of 3 boss. That's also an option. So they played the Ornate Rod, but do they have the Ball Search card to find the Mankey to go with it? Okay, there's the Single Strike Roar. Probably just use Jinx to move that damage over to the Crobat. I just don't know what else they could. Okay, so they don't have the Mankey. That's really big for us. So let's take all these. We do need to set up another Kingdra, though. That's sort of our next issue that we have. Well, first we need to decide, are we going to Marnie or Bird Keeper? I think we're just going to Marnie. Because we need Rare Candy Kingdra to keep this train going. Okay, Level Ball, that is fantastic. So we could even go for... Yes, we'll Level Ball. We'll grab ourselves Horsey. We could go for Seadra, but I think we're actually probably safe from a KO, more than likely. Because of that, I think we actually will just go for the Seadra here. That way we don't have all this pressure to hit Rare Candy Kingdra off of this Marnie. But from there, we'll get rid of the Bird Keeper, go for Horsey, and now we can Marnie. Alrighty, so we have Kingdra ready to go for next turn. Feels good. We could even get down the Mew. I don't think it really matters, though. So we'll just go for the retreat over here. Let's see. I think in case they try to stall with Crobat, maybe we get down an extra energy to threaten the KO. So I kind of like that. Because if they do promote Crobat, they just kind of recharge for a turn. We actually wouldn't be able to knock this out unless we have 1 more energy. So I think this is probably the right play here. We could get down Mew. I don't think they have anything that snipes our bench. So I think we're going to leave this bench space open and be kind of flexible here. All right, there's the water energy. That's fine, I suppose. So right now they're doing 70. They could attach to B90, it'd be 1... Yeah, they can cap out at 110 against our Kingdra. Earn a Vitalities, that's definitely good. They can accelerate those single strike energies back into deck. Get them back out on Mankey this turn. Okay, discarding another Urn. That works. So they're probably looking for a second Mankey or another Houndour. Either one of those would work just fine here. Okay, another urn coming down. Just going for the 1. And a research. Alright. So our opponent is starting to stabilize a little bit here. Again, they probably want to find another Mankey or another Houndour. Either one of those would be good. Because they basically always want at least one Houndour in play. They're going to lose one this turn. And they still need to accelerate an energy to their Mankey as well. But hey, we just get the victory screen. So maybe they like drew into all of their single strike energies and couldn't accelerate multiple. I have no idea. But hey, Kingdra is going to be the single prize deck that comes out on top this game at least. Alright, so let's call the coin flip against 6-Shoe. Looks like we might be playing against Eternatus, potentially. Okay, it's our opponent's turn. They're going to choose to go first. Makes sense. I actually don't mind going second with this deck. So we're just going to start with the Articuno. I don't want to bench down the Horsey, get hit with the Fion or something like that just yet. So, okay, so it looks like it might be a Crobat VMAX deck. So yes, we would like to draw the extra cards, and we're just going to keep our hand as is for the moment. They can't Marnie us right away, so yeah, this is perfectly fine hand to lead the game with here. Okay, there's going to be a Swablu. Little do they know, we can pretty easily deal with Altaria, so there's communication. Probably just can grab another Crobat. Makes sense. Do they have energy? That's the next thing they're going to be on the lookout for here. Okay, so pretty good turn 1 from our opponent. Probably just go for another Krogunk. Yeah. Because if they get both Toxicroak, they can basically one-shot our Articunos. So go for the level ball here. We will... I kind of just want to go for Snom. Yeah, I can live with that. We're actually going to attach to Horsey just because there is a chance this Articuno does get knocked out, and don't really want to have to deal with that if possible. So we're actually just going to Marnie here. Okay, so from there, I mean, we could Crobat for 2. I really don't want to Crobat though if we don't have to, so I'm just going to go for the Intrepid Sword. Okay, so pretty good 3 cards that we drew there. We have a level ball, so we can grab a Frosmoth or a second Horsey. Definitely wouldn't mind a second Horsey as well at some point here. Okay, there's a Crobat VMAX, and there's a Marnie. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Our hand was pretty good lined up for the next turn. We just want probably another Articuno. That's what we want to get down. We do have Bird Keeper at the very least here. Now, Wash Energy could be actually good at preventing poison. So, existing effects are not removed, unfortunately, when we get down Wash Energy, but... Okay, so we will just... probably just go into a different Articuno. So we're on Bird Keeper. Alright, so we will... we'll probably attach here, because I think we're actually going to attack with Cold Cyclone next turn. Let's see... Yeah, we can actually toss this water as well and just go for Horsey. So this game we're actually setting up kind of okay. We're a little bit fortunate that the Crobat deck doesn't put on like too much pressure. But let's see. We have another Bird Keeper that's good. But I guess one downside, Crobat can just do a flat 180. Oh, man, they hit us with another Marnie. Their Marnies have been really good. I've kind of liked all of our hands that we've had every time they've used them. It's not really what I like to see, but we can at least switch or use Air Balloon here. Okay, Marnie, that is fantastic. So we'll do this. Get down Air Balloon here and just go for the Marnie. All right, so we can live with this. We can live with this. We could evolve straight away into Kingdra, which I don't hate. Question is, do we Intrepid Sword or do we go for the Cold Cyclone? I think we actually go for the... Intrepid Sword this turn, I have to be honest. So I think we will evolve into Kingdra because we need to be able to get the energy off of... Like, I want to keep this Air Balloon. So I think for that reason, we're just going to evolve here. We could even let this Articuno just go down. And go for another Cold Cyclone next turn, maybe? I'll say sure. That's fine. So let's go for the Intrepid Sword. No supporters, but at least we do draw a few more cards in the process here. There's Crushing Hammer. So they probably do want to take out our Wash Energy. That's going to be an important card. At shutting off that poison. Another Crushing Hammer. Hey, I won't turn that down. There's a switch. And let's see. There's going to be the Stealth Poison. Definitely wouldn't have minded a Marnie this turn. It's like the one turn they don't Marnie is the one turn that we would actually like it to happen. Alright, so I think yet again this turn, more than likely we're going to go for... More than likely we're going to go for the Intrepid Sword. Depends on what we top deck. Okay, so we top deck Rosa. That actually does change things for us. Okay, so we'll definitely go for the Capacious Bucket. Just trying to thin our deck as much as possible here. Go for the Rosa. Alright, so we'll go for Kingdra. Basic Energy, and probably another Rosa. I think those are probably our best options here. Or even Level Ball could be good. The stupid timer got us. I want to take a peek there and just do our math real quick to see what... if there's an argument to be made for just going for Frosmoth this turn and knocking out the Saltaria. So yeah, I guess we'll just start attaching over here. That's fine, and we're just going to go for the Cold Cyclone, I suppose. Alrighty, so this Articuno is going to go down, but at this point our hand is at least looking pretty decent, though. Okay, they are going to get rid of the Wash Energy. Kind of a pain, but is what it is. Stealth Poison. Yeah, so we should have one Wash Energy left. So actually, I might... Yeah, we'll just promote the Kingdra. We actually don't even need Frosmoth this turn, since they promoted the doll. Articuno, we don't care about that. So let's just go for this guy. We could even go for a Fion, which is okay by me if that's what we want to do. I think we have to go for Kingdra. Probably go for a Level Ball here. And maybe a bird keeper. So we'll attach. Then from there we will go for the Aqua Burst. So now they're just going to start like wiping our Kingdras basically with the second attack on Crobat, but we're definitely afraid of a boss. That's another thing we haven't seen yet from our opponent. And I mean, luckily, unlike a lot of decks, Crobat can't actually just like one-shot a Zacian. That's like the one good thing we do have going for us here. Okay, Stealth Poison. So they're not going to knock us out. Interesting. I'm actually perfectly content with that. So it looks like they are fine giving up the Altaria. I actually might go for the Fion then if that's the case. Sure, because it seems like they want to get rid of this. Or they, I mean, at the very least, this is what they would prefer to lose. So we will go for the Bird Keeper over here. Promote the Zacian. We want to get the Air Balloon down on. I don't want them to ever try to trap us. Okay, so we're going to put the Articuno back in deck here. Go for Frosmoth. And now we're feeling kind of good about the spot that we're in, guys. So let's just go for the Ice Dance. And yeah, now things probably are a little scarier for our opponent. So yeah, we'll just retreat over here. And I'm going to save this Calm because we could go for a Fion on the next turn or a Crobat if we need to. So yeah, just going to go for the Aqua Burst. So just one more attachment, we can start one-shotting these Crobat VMAXs. So our opponent definitely needs to be a little bit scared. So we have a Capacious Bucket, but I think, yeah, we're actually out of water energy. We need Ordinary Rod if we want to be able to one-shot them. Or we need our other wash energy. So I imagine they're still just going to go for the hit and run strategy. That's fine. Now, one thing we do have to be careful about in this matchup, though, is the fact that Kingdra's ability only activates when it's damaged from an attack. So if our opponent is ever able to... Okay, gonna knock out Frosmoth. I'm actually okay with that. Oh, but the issue is we get knocked out going back into their turn, so maybe I'm not okay with that in hindsight. All right, so this turn we're actually going to go for a Crobat V. I want to get this guy out of here, so we are going to go for Fion. We really want to hit Bird Keeper or Air Balloon. And I believe we have both. Ooh, no, we have to hit Bird Keeper. That's sketchy, but I mean, we are going to draw a third of our deck, so it is possible to get there, guys. Oh no, we whiffed. Okay. Feels bad. I guess we just get knocked out and promote the Zacian in between turns here. Because Zacian actually can't get knocked out, so... Now, Altaria is actually stuck for the moment, too. They do need energy or another U-turn board if they want to move this guy out of the active. But, yeah, not having the Bird Keeper there definitely felt bad. Would have loved to have been able to keep up a little bit here. Because now that we have Crobat down, that is something that... We basically benched Crobat essentially for no reason since we missed the Bird Keeper. Okay, there's the Stealth Poison. Now, they did not play a supporter from their hands. I'm actually kind of hesitant if I even want to play a Marnie this turn. All right, so we're just going to retreat over here. And probably just go for the Aqua Burst. I don't see any reason not to at this point. We have Level Ball, so we can always go for a Fion if we need to, but there's no reason to play it this turn because they would just promote this Altaria if that were the case. So there's going to be a Level Ball. Okay, there's going to be another Doll, so that's why I kind of want... Okay, there's going to be the Marnie. So that might even put us into the Fion, but that's like the big card we want to see for the rest of this game. Alright, we have Quick Ball, so that works just fine. Okay, so they are going to knock us out with the Stealth Poison. Again, we're cool with that, though, just because we do have... we can keep chaining all this energy. And we have the Fion to push this thing out of the way, too. So let's see. If they do 70 to us, that's 80... Okay, I was just trying to calculate if the poison ever is going to knock us out between turns instead of damage, and I don't think so. So let's just do this. So we will Bird Keeper. Alrighty, so that's good. Definitely want to be able to get some more energies here. We will do both. So let's go ahead and grab our Horsey and Kingdra. How many rare candies are we down? 2. Okay. And we'll go for a water energy as well. Go for the Whirlpool Suction. So I'm going to save this Quick Ball, though, just because that will allow us to get Fion on the next turn. So I'll go for a Horsey. And go for the Aqua Burst. But if they just have Boss, we just lose to them gusting up this Crobat. Or the Zacian, either one at this point. So we have to kind of worry about that. They still have a Crobat V more than likely in deck to dig. Yeah, and there's the Boss, guys, so... feels bad. I mean, I think we did okay overall, just, yeah, that one whiff was really bad, but I don't think that would have changed anything, but... Yeah, Kingdra just kind of struggles sometimes, as you can see. Alrighty guys, that's going to wrap up our look here at the Kingdra deck today. As you can see, probably not the best single prize deck that we're going to be getting out of Battle Styles. Definitely think this guy is pretty clunky. You know, when it does get set up, it feels kind of cool to get your whole combo going, but man, it's just a lot of work. But nevertheless, it's still fun to be able to play some Stage 2 decks. And like I said at the beginning of this video, big shout out to G, our patron at patreon.com/rarecandytcg for requesting us to cover this. If you guys want to have your deck request get heard and get covered on the channel, I will have a link down below in the description for you guys to check that out, of course. If you did enjoy watching me get smacked around with this Kingdra deck, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever my next video drops. Or if you're feeling extra generous, you can take your support to the next level by becoming a patron or pick up some merch over at rarecandytcg.com. It would mean a lot. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.